Okay, welcome to the channel. Oops, let me close these things out so you guys don't see them. As usual, I'm going to start out with the dashboard snapshot, so you can see where I'm at. What do you do when the probability of success to your plan is 100%? Nothing. You do nothing. Because today's 100% could be tomorrow's 80%. So I probably won't do anything serious with this for a year. I'm guessing some of the reasons for that are the market's been doing better. Right Capital has pushed out the changes to extend tax the tax credits that went through in the big beautiful bill, and so I'm guessing that's upping my probability because there used to be a field you could go to the detail on taxes. It was called business expenses or something like that, and they would put if the Trump tax stuff was extended, they were putting numbers in there for that. So that's all zero now. I looked. So I think that's probably why it's gone to 100%. So I draw attention to my shirt. You made my day. If you're watching my channel here, you made my day. If you subscribed, you made my day even more. So I'm just hopefully this gives you some value. So what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about not too much, the big beautiful bill, and basically what it's doing for me as far as Roth conversions. Because what it did is he is dropping the premium subsidy, the premium healthcare subsidies for ACA, the Affordable Care Act. And so anybody who makes more than 4 times the poverty level is not going to receive subsidies anymore. So I'm reevaluating my stuff. Not a full reevaluation because I haven't seen it yet in healthcare stuff for New Jersey, get covered New Jersey. But it gives me an excuse to show you the tax tab and get working on the tax tab because I've been using it to figure out if I'm paying more or less taxes, et cetera, et cetera. So let's get started. So the primary purpose of this whole thing is to figure out a way where I can make sure that 4 times, if you're married, poverty level if I'm married is 21.1, oops, and 4 times that is 84.6. So my goal is to get my income down between the ages of 61 and 64 to less than 84 so that I can receive those subsidies, and they're pretty significant. So really, I only have one tool for that, right? Roth. I can only take what's in my IRA and convert it to Roth. So I'm going to explain that step to you right now. So if you go to profile, go to income, because it's considered income because what you're doing is you're taking a distribution. You have to set up a couple things, right? First, you have to set up taking it from your IRA and putting it into a Roth IRA so it can get taxed. So I was messing. My goal is to get less than 84,000, but to get to that goal, there's no one button where you can go into Right Capital and say, "Hey, this is the number to get to less than 84,000. Show me what to do." So you kind of have to fiddle with the numbers until you get what you're looking for. So you're going to end up fiddling with this annual amount. I hit like 165. I'll probably fiddle with some more. I only have 2 years to do this. I have next year because I can't withdraw without penalty from my IRA until I'm 59 and a half. And then, so that puts me at 59 and a half. And then the next year, 60. Then the following year, 61, my wife retires. So then I got to get health insurance. So I got to keep my subsidy low. So what we're going to do is I came up with 165,000 after tweaking this number a little bit. It's going to be a fixed dollar approach for 2 years, 2026, 2027. And it's going to convert to Roth IRA. Okay, so that's going to take the money out of my IRA and put it into a Roth. So the next thing I have to do is distribute that money. So then I have a distribution for 4 years. I want to just deplete my entire Roth because for those 4 years, starting at 61, so 61, 62, 63, 64, when I need the ACA, I need to keep my income low. And so I'm going to deplete it over 4 years, starting at Steve's age of 61. In a normal distribution standard rule, because I'll be 60. Now, the thing about the Roth distribution, which is a little strange, but I think this is right. I've looked at it, but you obviously have to talk to your tax accountant. I started a 401k Roth about 5 years ago, probably 5 years ago. Problem is, just at the beginning of this year, I had to convert that Roth from a 401k Roth to an IRA Roth, which I should have done that earlier, and then I would have gotten credit for the Roth sooner. So that means the start date of my IRA Roth is like in whatever, January. So as a result, that I'm going to have a limitation of 5 years. The good news is, from what I've seen, you're allowed to draw down the principal, but you can't draw down the gains. So that should be fine. I mean, I'll be fine. I'll just draw down the principal, and then when I hit the 5th year, which will actually be like my 4th year in healthcare, I'll draw down all the gains to stay alive. So anyhow, so just be careful of that. You can only draw down the gains. You can or only draw down the principal, I think, before the end of 5 years. I said you can Google that and get it. It doesn't impact me too much just yet. And then finally, what I had to do is I had to tell what was happening was it was taking everything. So it literally, for when I was 61, if I needed $100,000 to live, it would take all 100,000 from my Roth, which was a problem, right? And so what it would do is I had to go 4 years. So it would take all I needed 100,000 for the first year, 100,000 for the second year, 100,000 for the third year, and then it would run out of money on the 4th year. Because it takes down, it was just taking as much as it could. Okay. So what we're going to do is I had to create a, a distribution. I had to tell it, listen, I want you to take from my IRA as well. So I created this distribution, and it was 20. I was just tweaking this number a little. Again, you're just going to have to do this and tweak it around yourself a little bit. There's no magic button or no silver bullet. So I put 25,000 fixed dollar amount starting when I'm 61, 64. Take it from the IRA, normal distribution standard rule. So what that did is, when my capital saw this, it didn't need to take as much from my Roth. So then, therefore, when I hit the 4th year, I had more money. So this was the way I kind of evenly distributed my Roth, because it was taking everything from the Roth. And then the 4th year, it would have like 30,000 left or something like that. So I told it to do this. It'd be tough. Like, I can control distribution. The problem is, or not distribution, I can control the way Rye Capital draws down. The problem is I only wanted to do this for this 3-4 year period. Other than that, I do want to go for my cash accounts first, then my already taxed accounts like my Roth, and then lastly my 401k or my IRA stuff. So I did this in order to kind of trick Rye Capital into saying, okay, I'm going to take out that money. All right. So that's what I set it up. So like I always tell you, check it. Don't just put and that includes your percentage too. Don't just put it in and go. So let's make sure, where do we always go? Retirement, cash flows, accounts. Okay, now I can go here. Oh, not there, sorry. Ending amounts by accounts. I can say withdrawals. I can say addition to accounts. Okay, so right here, what you're seeing is the addition to my Roth IRAs. So right here, you see that I put in the 165,000 each year. Let's see about withdrawals from accounts. So withdrawals from accounts, what you're seeing here too, is there's my 25,000 a year withdrawing for 1, 2, 3, 4 years. This is the withdrawals from my Roth IRA account. Now remember, my Roth IRA account is going to be the 165 times 2, 330 plus the 40 I already have. So it's going to be like 370, 400,000 plus any gains. So that's why you're seeing this amount. But notice it's fairly distributed now. But if I hadn't put this 25,000 in, I would only be taking out like 20,000 on the last year or something like that. So I'm taking from the IRA. Okay. Looks like it's working. Looks like it's doing what I wanted to do. So what's my ultimate question? My ultimate question is, how much am I paying in taxes on this thing? So I'm going to go to the tax tab and go to tax strategies. From tax strategies, you go to details, and I check this too. So if you look, you have a couple of options when you're in the tax details tab. This is pretty helpful. You can look at withdrawal and conversion, tax details, Medicare premium, and asset location summary. Now this is kind of cool too, because when you're actually, even though this should be in the cash flow tab to a certain extent, the withdrawal and conversion, because that's when I ultimately start withdrawing like more sophisticated techniques on withdrawing, not drawing. I'll probably just go to retirement cash flow withdrawals and then go find out what I have to withdraw. But anyhow, this is just checking again. You see the 165, 165. So I'm withdrawing those for the Roth conversions. Here's all the 25,000s. And then here's the withdrawal. Here's the 1, 2, 3, 4 withdrawals from 61 to 65. Okay. So that's good. Great. Nice, Steve. But what we really want to find out is what's the tax. So no, what we really want to find out, because if you're doing this yourself, you're going to have to mess with these numbers. But how do you know you're hitting your target of underneath 41? Now, remember, Affordable Care Act is for the adjusted gross income. Oh, I just forget what the M means. Modified adjusted gross income, which is not what you're taxed on, because what you're taxed on is the modified adjusted gross income minus your deduction or your itemization or whatever you're doing. But ACA looks at this number. So we have to look at two numbers. We have to look at this number first to make sure, hey, am I under 84 all these years? I am. So clearly, even I'm a little bit more under, but maybe I don't want to risk it. We'll see in the end. I don't think so. I'm happy to be under that, that range by a fairly decent amount. So quality number one, or qualification number one, did I stay under 84? I did. And by looking at this, I use the Medicare premium because the Medicare premium and the ACA are the same. And if you look at Medicare premium, yes, the IRMA question, which is if you get taxed more, you have to pay more for Medicare because you make a lot. You can see I'm always under the Medicare threshold. Even as I go into 75, 76, like as now, what's going to happen, what happens to a lot of people is when they start hitting required minimum distributions, it pushes them up and they get hosed on IRMA and taxes and everything else. But I seem to be okay, but that's because right now I'm married. It may be uglier if one of us dies. Okay, that's another video, which I did. I did the widow's tax trap. So, but what we care about right now is tax details. So we're going to look at this and say, hey, yeah, adjusted taxable income. This is minus your standard deduction or your itemized deduction. You're going to see I get hammered, right? I pay $36,000 worth of taxes when I'm 59 and 60 because I'm taking out that extra. Then I go down, which makes sense because my income is really low, right? Even though this is really interesting. Why am I at 12% when it's 33 or 10%? Oh no, 22. I guess this makes sense. It's a bracket. So that makes complete sense. 61 to 64. I'm not paying a lot of taxes. So what I ultimately wanted to find out is how much do I have to pay taxes on this? And is it more or less than if I don't do any of these things? So what I did was I hit the export button. It exports this. I put it in a spreadsheet here, which is what you see here. And these were I also added an export, and I did this too, just I guess for presentation too. But so let's just make sure. So 2028, 41,000, 2028, 41,000. Okay, so I did it correctly. Okay, so then this gives me this doesn't do state income tax, but I'm assuming it's going to be relatively similar. So if you take the federal tax paid, add it all up, you get 553,000. Okay, great. So now what I wanted to see, which this is what blew my mind. This shocked me, and I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to try it again because it shocked me so much. But I did it a couple of times. It's fine. So what I wanted to say was, well, then how much if I don't do any of this stuff? If I don't do any of this stuff, what am I going to pay? So I went to profile, income, and here said don't do any of this stuff. Don't do any of this stuff. And don't do any of this stuff. I'm going to rename this just to say Steve's Roth IRA distribution. And this was 4 years. Just so I don't forget. Okay, and I'm going to hit save. I'm going to refresh this bad boy just because it was weird. I don't know if Right Capital like calculates this stuff, but it seemed to not take effect. So once when I did this, so we're going to go to retirement, just like we checked the other one. Cash flows. I'm going to be so ticked if this doesn't work because this will be the fourth time I've done this video. Okay, so you're going to see right here, it's not taking out, it's not converting any of my IRA to Roth. It's burning through all my cash on hand money, which is the order it's supposed to go. It's supposed to go cash on hand, then Roth, then your 401ks. So it's burning through all that, and then you'll see it's taking from my 401k. It's taking from my IRA. This is my wife's 401k. This is the IRA that we have. It's my IRA. And it's probably burned through all the Roth stuff too. That's why it's not doing any conversions. So it looks like it's not doing anything. So it's not, in other words, I backed out all the stuff we were doing. So let's just do one more check. Go to tax strategies details. Withdrawals and conversions, and you don't see any withdrawals and conversions anymore, right? This is just withdrawing from my tax deferred account because it has to get money. And look at it on this day, this 6163, it's taking out my entire balance of my Roth. So it's burned through all my cash. Then it takes as much as it can out of the Roth plus. So it started, I took all the remaining cash, then what I had in my Roth, then it goes to my tax deferred account, our 401ks to get the remaining. Okay. So it definitely looks like it's backed it out. So this is what, in all honesty, freaked me out. So let's go to tax details. Kind of makes sense. 12, 12, 12, 12, then 22, 22, 22, 22. And then I don't know why some of these years it goes down to 12. Maybe Social Security. No, but I'm collecting Social Security at 70. I'm not going to go through and try and debug Right Capital, like why these 5 or 6 years, because there's still the go-go years for me, because my go-go years are till 77, I believe, is the go-go years. So I'm not quite sure why the tax bracket's gone down there, but I'm not going to worry too much about it at this point. Because it doesn't seem to be even in the area where I'm doing all these changes. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna export. I'm gonna do this live. Well, not live, but kind of live. Live for me. Come on. Is this the one I just did? Yeah. Well, here we can check. So last one is 206,145. Go to Right Capital. 206,145. Okay. So now watch this. This is one of the things that drives me nuts about Right Capital. I wish it would give me totals and I wouldn't have to do this kind of stuff. So I'm going to take this and this. I'm going to copy it. Now, this is me doing nothing. I'm going to go back to my grid that has nothing. Oh, what did I? Hold on. I did copy the year too. I don't think do I need the year? Hold on. Let's find out. Yeah, I took the year too. I'm going to go like this. Go like this. I'm going to go paste. And this is if anybody thinks I'm missing something, man, go to the comments section. Because if I'm just looking at the numbers, I'm just double checking to make sure I got all my numbers right. It's actually cheaper for me to do these massive Roth conversions in the beginning. Which I guess the only thing that makes sense is because I'm staying in the tax bracket and I would have been in the 22% tax bracket anyway. I guess that kind of makes sense. But now it's like a no-brainer for me. Because literally doing nothing cost me $555,000 in taxes. Doing something cost me $553,000. So it's actually $2,000 cheaper, plus the tremendous amount of money I'm going to save in ACA subsidies. Because when I looked at the ACA subsidies, even with the premium subsidy, like I said, this number could change, but this number alone down here will justify this change. But I think it was like $1,000 a month. If I can get into 4 times poverty level, I can get like $1,000 a month on a subsidy. So that would be 48K, 4 years, $1,000 a month times 12. That is 12,000 a month times 4. That's 48,000. So I don't see any compelling reason not to do this. And next year it'd be pretty easy. I grant you, it's going to be massively painful because when I do this withdrawal, it's actually going to be more than that because I'm going to need the money to cover the taxes. So what I'll probably do is take out well, I'm just going to look. I'm going to look at these tax differences and see what I'd have to pay. But I don't know. Seems pretty cool. It seems that um, I should be doing this no matter what. So um, that's really it. I'm gonna go back just so you can see it one more time, even though you've probably all shut down by now. By the way, you'd really make my day if you'd subscribe. Um, I'm gonna go back to profile income, and I'm gonna bring these back. So my health bear was 165, 123. I'm gonna save it. I don't know why my stupid little machine does that sometimes. Then, and this is gonna be 25,000. Save that guy. And then this is going to be distribution years 4. I'm going to save that guy. So I don't know what to say. Like other than the tax, look at the tax tab. That's a great way. In summary, look at the tax tab. Like I said, I tend to be a details guy. I like to see all the details. Medicare premiums, that'll help you for IRMA if you want to just scope out if you're going to be paying Medicare premium charges. Asset location summary. I guess this is just showing me where all my assets are, which is, I don't know. And then this is withdrawal and conversion. So great tool. Pretty happy. Again, for you, what you're going to do is you're going to be messing with this and seeing what numbers play out for you. So you're going to be looking at these. You're going to be looking at these 3 things and you're going to be toying with them and then you're going to go to the tax. You're going to go to Medicare premium and you're going to see how does it affect your line, and does it get you below for your ACA subsidies, or if you just want to do it for tax stuff. So I think that's it. Like I said, took this video 4 times, which shows you the likelihood of there being something in here is high. But I felt like I learned a fair amount when I was going through this process, much better than when I did it in a healthcare video. So again, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. Subscribing will be great. Most of you don't even get to the end of the channel, but thank you so much. Have yourself a great day, a great night, whenever you're watching this. And I appreciate you guys so much. Later.